Oh, this is a living room request. And somebody's requested. Stephen has requested this. Steve. And it's the Glendy Burke by Stephen Foster. This is Matt Redman.
Patricia Hammond. We're going back to
no prizes for anticipating the zither banjo here.
Yes, we're going back to the 1860s today.
50s.
1850s as well, but more on that after.
Yeah. We've already talked enough. The Glendy Burke is a mighty fast boat with a mighty fast captain too. He sits up there on the hurricane roof and he keeps his eye on the crew. I can't stay here for they work too hard. I'm bound to leave this town. I'll take my duds and tote 'em on my back when the Glendy Burke comes down. Ho for Louisiana, I'm bound to leave this town. I'll take my duds and tote 'em on my back when the Glendy Burke comes down. The Glendy Burke has a funny old crew and they sing the bosun song. They burn the pitch and the pine knot too for to shove the boat along. The smoke goes up and the engine roars and the wheel goes round and round. So fare ye well, for I'll take a little ride when the Glendy Burke comes down. Ho for Louisiana, I'm bound to leave this town. I'll take my duds and tote 'em on my back when the Glendy Burke comes down. I'll work all night in the wind and storm. I'll work all day in the rain till I find myself on the levee dock in New Orleans again. They make me mow in the hayfield here and knock my head with a flail. I can go where they work with the sugar and the cane and the roll in the cotton bale. Ho for Louisiana, I'm bound to leave this town. I'll take my duds and put 'em on my back when the Glendy Burke comes down. My lady love is as pretty as a pink. I'll meet her on the way. I'll take her back to the sunny old south and there I'll make her stay. So don't you fret, my honey dear, oh don't you fret, Miss Brown. I'll take you back for the middle of the week when the Glendy Burke comes down. Ho for Louisiana, I'm bound to leave this town. I'll take my duds and tote 'em on my back when the Glendy Burke comes down. Ho for Louisiana, I'm bound to leave this town. I'll take my duds and tote 'em on my back when the Glendy Burke comes down. Dr. Spooner came and visited me there and I sang Bendy Burke.
I did that at least 3 times. Why is that?
Bendy Burke. Maybe it's intended because it's kind of not a good boat. We're kind of sort of ascertaining.
I practiced this song so much and my lips just went no.
No. Well, the funny thing, I think that the whole point of the song is that it's no good ship and you do not want to work on it. You'd rather get hit in the head with a flail than work on the Glendy Burke. So Bendy Burke probably, you know, it's well, didn't it sink?
It did. Isn't that funny? So it was launched in 1851. It's when he wrote the song, but utterly bizarrely, or maybe he didn't. Maybe that's
we
not
research
true.
Here.
Maybe he didn't write the song in 1851. He wrote part of the song, but completed the humorous lyrics in 1860 once it had already sung, because that's when it was first published.
Maybe. It's
So
very
how about
interesting.
that?
So
Hard to know, I guess.
Stephen, who has requested it, we have a couple of Stephens who request. This is Stephen with a V. Stephen with a V, who also requested My Sister and I. Wonderful song. Very interesting request.
Oh, that's a very unusual song.
Amazing and unusual song. He said, in doing some family history research, I learned that one of my direct ancestors, my 5th great-grandfather, was a riverboat pilot of the Ohio River, and he died in 1864, not long after Foster wrote the song. That's why he's requested
That's crazy.
And that's very interesting. Despite my accent, I have no ancestors anywhere near around there. But so it's very interesting for people to find that kind of history.
Do you sound Louisianan? I wouldn't have said so.
No, but if you think of somebody from North America with North American accent, people think, oh, you must go, way. No, but no, very interesting. So that was fun.
Yeah, I haven't done that one before.
No,
it was
I'd never
rather
heard
reminiscent of several other Stephen Foster songs, but he
Still,
uniquely published them and composed them as individual compositions. So, it's all stand up in its own right. I didn't know that one.
Now we do.
In a line of, I don't know when the first steamship song was published, 1830s, 40s, I guess.
It's a whole thing.
But that went on a long time, didn't it?
Steamship songs, railroad songs. You could have a whole series. How many steamship songs can we think of? I mean,
Probably quite a few. But I was thinking,
where I come from, the west coast of Canada, not anywhere like this. They still remember the Union steamship that used to go, and where I come from is called Gibson's Landing, but they took the landing off at a certain point. Everything was something landing,
right?
Because that was where the Union steamship would stop, and then communities sprung up around them.
Right.
So there's Gibson's Landing, Hopkins Landing, Grantham's Landing. All these because of so anyway, I think Gibson's became Gibson's, and then people went, oh, the landing bit was kind of cute, so they brought it back. I don't know if it's still back, but anyway, so people do remember steamships and what they brought, and the festive sort of. My grandfather used to they'd read a book about divers in the South Pacific diving after coins that tourists would throw in the river, and they decided that they would revive that practice and get some money, and they did. My grandfather and his brother in the 1920s, for when I think it was the Union steamship, and they used to go diving after them and get some money that way. Very enterprising. I'm not that enterprising. Didn't inherit that, unfortunately.
I also can't imagine you diving.
No, the hell with that.
I can't imagine that.
No way. No way. Anyway, the Glendy Burk. We've strayed off topic.
Sorry about that. If you want to request your own, please go to
Thank you,
patriciahammondsongs.com no, don't do that. Go to patriciahammond.com/requests. You're on the channel Patricia Hammond Songs.
Yes.
Please consider subscribing. Pressing just that little thumbs up. That's becoming ever increasing. Look, even the tiny... even the big YouTubers with the tens of millions of millions of followers.
If you enjoy this, please put a thumbs up.
Because they know that people
It makes a small difference.
That's it. People are watching stuff and they're scrolling past stuff and they're not liking and commenting because they're consuming too much media.
I watch and I think, oh yes, I'm guilty, so I better do it. Well, anyway,
I always try to do because
me too.
you're
It's the
trying
least you can do.
because there's too much floating around. You
those
won't
people.
find it again, and.
True.
Our videos won't be pushed to people because apparently people are not engaging with them.
Definitely not. Well, I'm not doing something that's...
I mean, who else is doing this high quality, highly scripted, on topic, musical lectures to this extreme?
Jeff Lindsay talking about inflections that YouTubers use, and I didn't qualify for any of them because we don't read off scripts. We just talk, so we don't do any sort of cadence.
No, that's what they
cadence.
do. Yeah.
Well, there are cadences, but they're not consistent. I'll tell you one tip I would love to share with everyone. Please it's worth your money. Get YouTube Premium. I never thought I'd say that. I hate it when some company... No! How would they sponsor that? I hate it when people sort of say... When you're being pressured to do something. I hate doing it. So, get YouTube Premium. All these YouTube Premium ads, and I'm like, go away. Get stuffed, I'd say. But I found out that creators earn more from people who are members of YouTube Premium than they do from ads.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So actually it supports the creators that you do watch
didn't know that.
more, and you don't get any ads. I didn't realize how much those ads were affecting my stress levels until they left. It's only £12 a month. It's the best money you'll ever spend because I don't watch the television. All I watch is YouTube. So the fact is, just for £12 a month,
I only have YouTube.
Every time I click on a video and I don't get an ad, I get this rush of endorphin that goes, "Ooh, I'm lucky I don't have an ad. I'm lucky. I still get that rush
Oh, you mean like from the
absence of it.
because
Just
you
goes straight
sometimes
in.
might not have got an ad.
Straight in. Yeah. And I go, oh, every time. And just those endorphins alone are worth the money. And then I am so much calmer when I don't have to deal with Domino's price slice.
I never even thought about the endorphins
Oh
of not
my
having that.
God, it's a rush every time I click on a video. Truly it is. It's worth it. It's worth it. It's very easy to do. It's not easy to do within the YouTube site. If you go to YouTube and you're like, YouTube Premium, how do I do it? But if you go to Google and you go YouTube Premium, then it's so easy. It'll take you right away to the place. And you go, is this right place? It's very easy to do.
Hey, I'll just tell you something about
we're all telling you
music.
everything today. I told you something, now he's telling
because
me something.
you know, some people on this channel like music, so
yes, let's
as
get
well
back
as
to music.
general chat. So just before we go, this is a zither banjo that I presented in many videos, but if it's the first time you see it, it's a classic banjo. Yeah, raining. I know it has a wooden case and all that sort of stuff, but basically it's just an earlier form of the most common type of, you know, Google what a banjo is and like a clip art and AI generated banjo. It is very much just an earlier form of that. Insofar that it has strings, 5 strings, not easily noticeable on the video, but you can see there's 5 here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 peg heads or machine heads, and the short string that one would typically see on a, you know, like I'd say, like a, you know, the internet most obvious version of a banjo, a bluegrass banjo. It would have like a peg here on the 5th string, on the short string. Here it actually goes through a little tunnel, very, very Victorian metal tunnel,
yes.
travels all the way out,
metal.
and then it comes out to here. It's actually a re-entrant tuning, very, very uncommon. Well, not very uncommon, considerably uncommon in stringed instruments. So much so that mostly all string instruments go from low string to a bit higher, with the highest and thinnest string the further away from the player's body.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's like that or like this, unless it's left-handed or it's flat. But on certain instruments, like on the ukuleles and like on my very interesting series about the Gibson harp guitar.
Very interesting series.
And on the banjo, on the 5-string banjo, regardless of tuning, the top string, the thin string, or the 5th string, we call it the 5th string, not the first string, which also denotes the re-entrant nature, is always the highest, thinnest string on the instrument. How weird is that? So even when I told you that, I instinctively started on the 2nd string in, which we call the 1st string, and then ending on the 5th string, the thinnest and highest pitched string, which is actually closer to me.
That's very funny.
A re-entrant tuning.
Counterintuitive.
Yeah.
It must be like a brain massage to go from one instrument to the other with totally different fingerings.
That's why you get your typical that banjo-y sound because it keeps recurring because they're playing it as a drone string. Okay. In this particular case, more specifically, it's
a different era when the drone string is high.
Upper dominant pedal.
Oh.
You know, but obviously you can fret it. As I was just fiddling when Patricia was telling her story, you know, you can play notes on it as well. It's not just that one thing, but I typically don't play that many notes on it.
Let's pose for a thumbnail. A numthail.
Watch people who are very, 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 very good at playing classic banjo, and they'll utilize it. But looking at the original sheet music and listening to the original wax cylinder and 78 recordings from the 1900s and 1910s and 1890s, you don't find a huge number of examples of people fretting the short string, the 5th string, and that
intriguing.
But you do later on. You know, individuals like Bela Fleck, or your true virtuosos of 5-string banjo, they work it in as a regular string, and the plectrum banjo, which came later in the 1920s, is the same tuning as this classic banjo, C, G, B, D, but it just doesn't have the short string because, of course, when you play with a plectrum, you don't want to go hitting the drone string all the time.
Yeah. That's a problem.
If you're trying to play... going to keep hitting it all the time.
But we don't really hear it. It's an inner voice at that point.
Oh, interesting.
That's interesting.
But so that's why they got rid of that. Right, what were we going to say? Thumbnail.
Thumbnail. Glendy Burk. There we go. That's cheerful. Cheerful. With my...
I wonder if anybody watched that to the end. That was very
I know. If you watched that till the end,
just say so in the
put
comment.
the word re-entrant.
Yeah, re-entrant. There we go.
Nobody will know what the heck that means.
That's an interesting re-entrant. See you later.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.